Hello, my name is Eddy Blanco from Blanco Realty and Blanco Mortgage Team, and I'm joined with Emilie Waight from Top Tier Credit Consulting. Emilie, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Eddy, for having me.
All right, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and who you help.
Yes, so I am Emilie Waight with Top Tier Credit Consulting. I do credit repair, credit rebuilding, and then also credit building if you're starting from the bottom and have absolutely no credit at all.
Very nice. And how'd you get into this?
So I was almost to an 800 credit score, and I made the move from Texas out to Arizona, and I took a big hit on my credit, and I went all the way down to the higher 300s. So not knowing a lot about the detail of what all is involved in credit, I decided to do my research and just hit it hard and going in there and doing a lot of studies and repairing my own credit. So
now, when you were at the lower credit score, did you have someone like yourself to help you, or?
It was all self-taught. So self-taught learning, like I said, a lot of research and just kind of doing more of that, looking into seeing how credit bureaus run, you know, and
right.
being, whenever things are getting reported, what's getting reported, how often they get reported, and things of that nature. So,
you know, I'm sure this is a big problem for a lot of people out there. And as a realtor and now as a lender, I know how important credit can be. It can prevent you from getting a home.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's why I felt it's really important to have you here, to have your resources, because I do have a lot of people who ask out about how do I fix my credit. Now I have a great person to ask. I know you've told me a bit about the people you help and how you help them. So she can definitely get the job done. And a lot of people don't know that it works. Some people think, well, I can just go to Credit Karma and that's it. Can you tell us the difference between just going on Credit Karma and actually having you there to help them?
No, for sure. So there is actual facts out there that Credit Karma, they're actually going through a lawsuit right now because Credit Karma was sending out a bunch of this pre-approvals to people saying that they're pre-approved for a home or for a vehicle or this and that, and then people were getting denied, and it could have been for a credit card that was $5,000 and they still got denied or whatnot. So Credit Karma is really big as far as getting, you know, a lawsuit going on right now. So the company that I deal with is called Identity IQ. So it's a credit monitoring system. And so the way it works is I take the username, the password, and only the last four of the social from my client, right? So it's never a full social security number. I never have access to any of that. But you sign up with that service, and I take it and input it into my software. And so then it pings and shows me everything that's being hurt, you know, that's hurting on the client's credit. So a lot of clients, you know, going back to, you know, yes, a lot of people think, oh, it's something I can do by myself. I can submit my own dispute letter and whatnot. Yes, that is true. But at the end of the day, you know, I keep track of when they receive it, when the 30 days, you know, because they have anywhere from 30 to 45 days, right, for the credit bureau to get it.
Who knows that kind of stuff, right?
Right. Everybody just thinks it's 30 days. But they actually have that extra 15-day window period. So what I do is I keep track of all that, and I constantly fight for my clients. So TransUnion, for instance, is one of them that they send what is called a stall letter. So this letter just pretty much comes back to my client and it says, hey, we've noticed that you or you know, a credit repair company has submitted a dispute on your behalf. Please send more verification, And it's just their way of stalling the process. Right. So then guess what? That's 1 month down.
Or hoping that they don't send it in and then.
Yeah, because sometimes that can discourage people when they get this letter and they're like, oh, I received this, you know, and it's bummed out. I keep fighting till I get that dispute taken care of. So there's other little things that people don't know about that I've been learning, you know, when I'm talking to my clients, they're like, what? You know, like I didn't know about that, but there's pay to delete, you know, so if you can pay to delete.
So you got enough money, you can have perfect credit, I guess.
For sure.
I didn't know that. Okay.
So you can do, let's say you have a credit card that is in collections. There is certain credit cards and there is certain businesses that they will not sell your debt off. So like American Express, Capital One, Chase, they don't sell your debt. It's forever there. So what happens is, let's say Capital One, you just want to settle.
Right.
You always want to settle anywhere from 30 to 50%
Okay.
of whatever your balance is. So you settle that amount and they accept it, and then you can turn around and say, okay, and I also want a pay to delete. So then that way, and you always have to receive it either in writing or an email, to where once you settle that debt, they have no choice but to delete it too.
That's great information. I've never heard anybody tell me that. I've never learned that. But especially for like the people trying to buy a house and they don't want to wait and they have the money to pay it, this is a great opportunity here. I had no idea, but I kind of like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of little in-betweens, bankruptcy,
Okay.
child support is another one. The courthouse doesn't report to credit bureaus, so there's these third parties, 𝐋𝐎𝐀𝐍 is one of them,
right.
that turn around and report. So they go and gather this information, then they turn around and report it, and that's how it gets put on there. So on some cases you have to freeze your information with 𝐋𝐎𝐀𝐍, and then turn around and then dispute everything to get it taken off. Whenever it's like a bankruptcy or anything that has to come from the courthouse, there is more of a process, because that's kind of out to where my client has to be more involved, and my client will send a letter to the courthouse. We'll turn around and request a courthouse like, hey, why is this getting reported? Once the courthouse sends that information back and says, hey, we're the courthouse, we don't report to credit bureaus,
Right.
then that's where I'll come into play. My client uploads it into their portal, and then I turn around and send everything off so that we can get that taken care of as well.
I'm sure a common question you get, that even they ask me, if I get a credit repair, how long does it take to get it good again?
Right.
Is that kind of a broad question can't really give a specific answer to?
So most people think it takes 30 days and it's over and done. You got to keep in mind, it is a lengthy process.
Right.
Sometimes it can take a year. I mean, it depends what all is involved on that client's reports.
Like you said, they have 30 days to respond anyways, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if they take the whole 30 days, there's no way it's going to be off in 30 days.
Right. There's not, because they're either sending a stall letter, right, to stall the process, or them themselves are trying to reach out to the creditor to see if this is a legit thing.
Yeah.
So they're doing their verification on it. So it can take anywhere from 2 months. It can take anywhere to a year, because it also depends on what amount of items is on that client's report,
So what do people that reach out to you, what's their main, barriers on their credit? What do you mostly see that, they all have this problem? Is there a certain problem that most people have that they can just fix and not have to start off like this?
So I see a lot of collections, not gonna lie. There is a lot of collections, and one thing that clients come to me for is they think that here's everything on my credit score, I need everything wiped off, that's hurting it. That's when it comes to collections and debt, I can fight to get it removed, but if they decide to sell it to another collection, one collection sells it to another one, it's going to bing back on there, because then it's a new report, right? It's reporting anew. So I always tell my clients right off the bat, whenever I'm analyzing and, going through there and kind of just letting them know this is how long it's going to take and whatnot. At the end of the day, that's debt that you owe. So if you don't ever plan on making things right with that company again, or with that credit card, or with that loan, then settle for anywhere from 30 to 50%, get it taken care of, and ask for a pay to delete so that it's over and done with. Because I can go in there and get it removed, but it's gonna ping back on there, because I can't ever wipe debt off your credit,
right.
So.
That shows a lot about you, that you even say in that part. I'm sure some people wouldn't and be like, just pay me anyways and I'll do it. But the service you offer is so huge, because credit, this is something I wish they taught in high school, even in grade school, because this is important. Can determine if you can get a house, if you can get a car, if you can get credit. It's a big part of an adult life. So them not teaching us anything about credit, I understand why so many people are in a bad situation or get in a bad situation. So you're doing a great service. Is there any like little things they can do? Like say they come to you right away, what would be the first thing you tell them to do to just get that credit score jumped fast as like they can, I guess?
So every scenario is different, right? So if it's a client who has 0 credit score because they don't have anything and they're trying to just build, right? First thing I always suggest to them is just to get a secured card, right? So a secured card is where you put this deposit into an account at the bank, or preferably credit unions. I always say go to a credit union. But you're using, say you put $500 in there, you're using your own money and you're paying it back. Right there, that's a good 115 points, that's going towards your credit. Always pay your bills on time. When they first come to me and they're saying, here's all my bad debt, anything that's in standings right now or open, I always suggest to them, always stay on top of paying it, and if you're behind on it with late, get caught up on it. Let me focus on the things that are hurting you, that's already in collections, that is so old and it's past, even trying to get ASAP recovered. You always want to hang on to the good and what's currently open. So
now being a co-signer can mess your credit up too, even though you didn't default and the person you co-signed for does default.
For sure.
So that's what I really tell a lot of clients that having their parents or their relatives co-sign on a house for them. It's a huge responsibility. You got to really think, hey, if they mess up, am I willing to risk my hard-earned credit on someone else?
Right.
Now, most of the time, I'm guessing they have that credit for a reason. Either they didn't know it was going to get low, or they weren't responsible with their credit. Now, would you recommend co-signing for somebody?
I say no. I have not.
Okay,
but,
all right.
I have not, but I tell you what, this has been and I totally agree. We're not taught this in school or anything like that. So this has been an ongoing learning experience, through all my adult years. And I have a 16-year-old who wants a vehicle really bad. And he's mentioned to me how I can co-sign and blah, blah, blah. And since I'm in the field that I'm in, I'm like, absolutely not. I'm not going to co-sign for you, because at the end of the day, I'm looking out that I want him to build his credit. So one thing I did learn recently too was, I have a credit card and I'm in good standings in that credit card. If I put him on as a rider and he's just an authorized user and he has his own card, his own credit card, it doesn't help his credit. Now, if I put him on completely as a complete rider on my credit card, as long as I maintain good credit standings with that credit card, it goes off onto his credit, so then it's helping him. Granted, he's only 16. I get a lot of people that are like, how is that even possible?
You're so smart. I did that with my son too. And I don't even think he knew, because I never gave him the card. Definitely wasn't going to give him the card. But that's such a great idea to set your kids up.
For sure.
Like, I wish my parents would have set me up for that. And I don't blame them. I don't think they knew. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people don't know that there's things you can do to help, even though things we weren't taught, you could teach to your children, because these are things they're not going to learn in school. They're probably not going to learn until they're already in a bad situation.
Right.
But there are things like that you can do to help your children set up for when they are at that age and they do need the credit, right?
No, for sure. Yeah. There's so one of the things I offer my client is a planner, right? So I take a planner and it's just your yearly planner, basic, and I color coordinate it to any bills that client has, right? So whatever bills they have, 5 bills, I take those 5 bills, I take the due date and I take the amount and I put it into a planner. And so all my client has to do is just turn around and plug in, the days that they get, whatever day they get paid for that week, whether it's 2 weeks, every 2 weeks, weekly, whatever the case. And it's already kind of structured to where it helps them too, because, paying your bills on time is one of the big things that goes towards your credit.
Right.
So with me and the young ones that are getting started off, like my 16-year-old, he works, and the moment he gets a check, he wants to just go and like spend it on food or on clothes or whatever. So I'm trying to teach him, priorities, put your priorities straight, and bills are going to come first. And I didn't have that when I was younger, as far as my parents saying, hey, well, you got a job now you have to. But I, on the other hand, am trying to teach him that. So, and I did start off small with him, and I'm like, okay, you got to help out with the Wi-Fi. There's this X amount. The cell phone bill is this X amount. And I only gave him those two versus like rent or electricity. So
that's awesome. I was forgetting. I think I was watching somebody on YouTube, and of course they were a wealthy individual, and they said the same thing. They make their child pay something just to show them that money's just not going to be given to them.
Right.
And it does prepare them for when they're in the real world. So I think that's a really good thing that everybody should do, because kids can't just think the money's just going to be given to them all the time. They have to be responsible for it. And credit it's something that so easily can go down and be so hard to come back up.
It is.
So what would you say your hardest client has been?
When the client is head over heels for Credit Karma, that is extremely the hardest one. Again, going back to the beginning of the conversation, Credit Karma is under a lawsuit, so.
Well, Credit Karma for credit is like Zillow for realtors. They have the worst information. It is so long to update their website. It's all like, it says it's available. They've been closed for 2 months. It's totally not accurate. But for some reason, their marketing is so strong, people go straight to Zillow. And I wish people were more informed.
So, Eddie, with you saying that, I ran out of an apartment.
Right.
And for the longest, I had been trying to get, find me a rental home. But because everything here in, Arizona is just crazy right now, that's what I learned. And it was kind of like, I learned it, even though I still asked, a realtor about it, right. Because I just want that clarification. But I mean, it was just a no-brainer. Just 1 month, 2 months into using Zillow, I was like, oh, this app is just like, no.
And it's tough to get people over that. I'm like, okay, after like the second or third listing they send me, I'm like, hey, it's already sold. Then that's when they finally start to say, okay, well, we'll start to use yours. I'm like, mine's linked right to the MLS. This is this is real time.
Yes.
So I'm sure it's the same with you with their Credit Karma. They do have pretty good commercials, but that's besides the point.
I don't even think I've ever seen one of their commercials.
I think I heard it on the radio or something that's pretty catchy. So for some reason, everybody knows Credit Karma. If there was one app to keep track on their credit, I mean, is there even any good apps? Experian's
a good one. And I always recommend, clients to get the Experian Boost. So Experian Boost is something I also use myself.
Really? Okay.
So since I rent from an apartment complex, I am signed on with Experian Boost. And so that monthly, it's linked to my card. And so that monthly payment is getting reported to my credit, so.
That's a good point for you renters out there. This is a good way to improve your credit too.
For sure.
You can use those rent payments to improve your credit.
Yes. Verizon's another one. I have Verizon as my carrier.
Very nice.
And Verizon is linked on there too, because Verizon doesn't report. Now, should you go bad, of course, just like when you rent, they report the bad, right? But Experian Boost is the one that helps, with your credit billing. So
Experian Boost, that's good stuff. Okay, so where can people find you? How can they find you? What kind of people should reach out if they do need help with this kind of thing?
So, I can be found on Instagram. So it's under Top Tier CC. And my website is toptiercreditconsulting.com. My phone number is 432-634-2305. You can reach me out through there. That's the way they can find me.
Very nice. I'll definitely recommend you to my clients, because there's a lot of people in real estate, a lot of people ready to buy now, especially since the market shifted a little bit towards the buyer side, that are so close on that credit. I think you could definitely help a lot of people out.
Anybody and everybody, for sure.
I definitely plan on talking with Emilie again, especially when we talk more about the first-time home buyer options, because a lot of people are so close. I think if Emilie has a little bit of time with them, they can get you right there to that spot where we can get you ready to buy. So I really appreciate you being here. Anything else you can tell us about your business, what you do?
So I am running, I usually do a deposit.
Yes.
You know, I always ask for 150 deposit, and that's for me to just get everything set up
Right.
and imported and whatnot, and, you know, to take care of the first month's disputes. But right now, if you come to me and you know, reference this
All right.
video and everything about it, then I am offering clients, you know, that get referred over just $100 for the month. It is $100 monthly. And so, yeah.
Is there a contract?
There is not a contract. It's just an agreement, you know, so just things of that nature. If you're going to constantly harass me on certain things, then I am, you know.
Have you had a client like that before?
Not yet. Not yet. Hopefully I don't, you know, not anytime soon, maybe another year or two. But yeah, so far so good, you know, with the clients, and I've been getting very good results and whatnot. So.
Well, thank you very much, Emily. You will definitely see her again. I'm definitely going to bring her back because this is a huge topic, a huge tool that can help a lot of first-time buyers or even second-time buyers or third-time. So I'm Eddy Blanco from Blanco Real Estate and Blanco Mortgage Team.
And I am Emilie Waight with Top Tier Credit Consulting.
Talk to you guys later.
Thank you.